Sports Entertained is recorded live at twitch.tv/baldyandthebeast. Come check us out every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and watch the matches right along with us.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Bront.
I'm Willem.
And we are Baldy and the Beast. Welcome back to another exciting week of Sports Entertained.
Yes.
What do we got going on today, Willem?
Today we are watching Cactus Jack versus Triple H from Royal Rumble 2000, the debut, of Cactus Jack in the WWF.
Very excited. These two beat the holy hell out of each other, and I think I remember you saying that you have never witnessed this match before, correct?
I've never witnessed this match. I had always heard great things about the series of matches between Triple H and Cactus Jack, but I never really took the opportunity to watch them for no particular reason. I just never really took the time. Always had other stuff going on, and just so happened now we have a reason for me to go and watch this match.
Yep. And this is I don't want to get your hopes up too high. I recommend very highly. You're gonna enjoy this.
All right.
So this match happened on January 23rd of 2000 in Madison Square Garden, spiritual home of the WWE, or F at the time. There were 19,231 screaming fans, and I mean that literally because this is 2000 wrestling, so this was hot as fuck at the time.
Yeah.
And this is the main feud going into this pay-per-view. I don't want to say it's the main event because the Rumble goes on after, but the non-Rumble main event. And this all started when the McMahon-Helmsley faction gained control of the WWF in late '99. They started to book some unreasonable matches for the talent, and Mick Foley objected to this.
Yep.
So the faction would attack him a couple times, and then eventually would fire Mick Foley.
Oh, okay.
On the January 3rd edition of Raw, Dry won the title and mocked Mick Foley with an impersonator. And this would lead to, on the next week's Raw, The Rock bringing out the rest of the roster, demanding Foley be reinstated, or the whole roster is going to walk out on the WWF. So obviously Foley was reinstated, and he demanded a match with Hunter at the Royal Rumble. But not just any match, Willem. He demanded a street fight. So then on the January 13 episode of Smackity Down, Foley revealed Mankind and Dude Love weren't quite up to snuff to fight Triple H in this street fight. So they wouldn't be showing up. But Foley had an old friend that would be showing up, Cactus Jack. And as soon as, if after the show, you'll have to go back and watch the pop. When Mick Foley revealed that Cactus would be there, it was nuclear. Fucking huge. And this is a hard-hitting matchup. I know I'm kind of speed running through this. I want to get around into this match.
Yeah, I know, right?
So it starts at 106:21 on the network. And why don't we run the card down real quick?
Yeah.
It opened with Angle running down his mystery opponent. And the whole crowd knew who this was. There was Taz chants. This was Taz's debut in the Fed. And everybody knew. Because this is a smarky crowd at this point. It's 2000. It's New York. Smarks are everywhere.
I do want to bring up a couple things. One, I've not particularly watched this match, but I have seen this pay-per-view. I don't know if it's a thing where I have no recollection at all of the match that we're going to be watching today, but I know that I've watched this because I've seen this segment where Angle addresses Taz coming out. I've watched the Dudleys versus the Hardys because I'm a huge mark for the Hardy Boys, and I watched that because it was the lead up to the Triangle Ladder match at Mania for this year, and I really as dumb and minimalist as it is, especially for as minimalist as all of the Dubs MSG sets are. I really enjoyed this one because it was just a fucking taxi crashing through a wall. It was simple, easy, whatever.
Made sense for the city.
Yeah. But I vaguely remember seeing things on this show, and I think I might have just skipped over this match because it had Triple H in it, and I didn't really
Oh, you made a mistake.
I know I did. But I do there are things on this show that I know I already enjoy, and from what I remember, the year 2000, aside for Mania for some people, was just
The main
like
event sucked.
was yeah. Well, the thing with Mania this year is just that there was one singles match and it was the women's match. I
Yep.
know that that's like a big sticking point for like the end of all your storylines. You're not going to have anything really at Mania. I still enjoyed it just for nostalgia's sake. Um, but this entire year was just banger after banger after banger on pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, yeah. This time period was super hot for the dub.
Yep.
They had all the momentum that WCW had had just 2 years before, 2 3 years before.
Mm-hmm.
That is all swung completely the opposite direction. It's all WWE now. And there were some things that could have happened. I mean, WCW would have smartened up and signed Angle. I'm not saying anything would have happened. I'm just saying that Angle is the shit at everything he tries.
Yep.
So he'd probably be the shit at being the best guy in WCW. But
Yep.
anyways,
Back
let's
to the
get off
card.
of this. Back to the card. You did mention the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys in a tables match. That was second. They had the Miss Rumble 2000 swimsuit contest, which, if I remember right, was just a way for Mae Young to have a comedy spot.
Sounds about right.
Hardcore Holly versus China versus Chris Jericho. Have to imagine that was probably good at the worst.
Um, I'd say it was probably mid because like yeah, it has Jericho in it, but it's also got Hardcore Holly in it, and I don't remember him ever actually being like that great of a worker.
No, but he can work. Like he's
Yeah.
bog average at worst. And I feel like him and Jericho together could have carried China to a good match. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Next up, we have New Age Outlaws versus the Acolytes. They probably beat the piss out of each other.
Yeah.
And speaking of beating the piss out of each other, Cactus Jack Triple H. And the final is the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
I feel like it's important for me to realize that the dub thinks so highly of Bob Backlund that there are 3 tags for the Royal Rumble. One of them is the start, one of them is the finish, and one of them is Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
Don't know that I would have picked that, but okay.
Is it just me, or does Bob Backlund at this time look like The Miz?
God damn it. You ruined something for me every episode. You just ruined The Miz. You ruined a whole person this time.
It's not the first time I've ruined a whole person for you.
You've ruined Riho.
Yeah, I know.
On the moment of Riho being ruined for me, let's go ahead and start the match. One more time. It is at 1:06:21. Willem, would you like to do the honors? Count
yes.
down.
We're going to be starting in 5, 4, 3, 2. Is where the match ended.
That was a superb match, though.
That was very good. On your scale, on 1 to 5 Bronts, how are you rating that match?
That's a solid 4.5. You know, it wasn't perfect. There were points. And part of it might have been, Trips suffered that injury pretty early on, getting a piece of wood in a very important part of his leg. So, props to them that they were still able to put on a match as good as this one was.
Yep. I am going to go ahead and say I'm going to give this one probably a solid. I'm going to give it 4 1/4. 4 1/4 simply because I feel like there was a little bit more. They could have been a little bit more creative with their outside spots. I appreciate that they did what they did with the pallets. I feel like they could have done a little bit with the bricks. I'm specifically seeing they got the bricks out there and just like they just kind of threw Trips into them. They could have done a little bit more with that. Yeah. But I can understand why they didn't. But they could have been creative. They could have had like little things made of sand, just compressed. Smack him with a brick, make it explode. I think I've seen that on TV at some point.
Yeah. I get with cinder blocks that exploded though.
Oh, well, fucking whatever. Either way, I feel like it was a great match, great work, really hard-hitting, brutal fucking match. I would 100% watch this again. Like, there's not a fucking chance in hell I wouldn't watch this match again.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised that I've watched this pay-per-view, but I skipped this match.
You remember the other day we were talking, and we were saying how sometimes we watch stuff and we don't realize how much time has gone by because it's just a good match?
Yeah.
I looked down, it was 7:15, and I was like,
Yeah, I know.
wow, man, like
Like
that time flew by.
okay. So for reference, so what I do is I'll take down my time as far as there's nothing in here though, but fuck it. You can't see it anyways. I take down the times to I'm probably gonna want to blurring that out or cutting that out of the video.
I couldn't
Um,
really see anything.
yeah. Um, but like
Can you just put my face over it? I'll give
probably
you a good still.
probably. Okay, cool.
You're welcome.
Um, no, but I take down the times for the start and the end point of the match so that I can know for since we've been doing the cut down episodes on YouTube, so I know where to cut for the start and end of the match. This match started, at least for our part of the video, at 18 minutes of recording, and that's including the 10-minute like countdown part of our stream.
Yeah.
The match ended at 51:45.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah.
You could have told me that was 15, 20 minutes, and I would have believed you because
I know
it was
that was half an hour, over half an hour of a segment, and it was worth every fucking second. Like, god damn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, apparently my body just has to get burps out right fucking now. But this kind of a lot of this stuff kind of comes back on like what we were talking about. We were talking about this a little bit before the stream, where the so when you're thinking of like a specific type of wrestler like that the WWE is famous for. So like we were talking or I mentioned up Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy as like high flyers in the WWE. They're WWE high flyers, but there are better high flyers elsewhere like Will Ospreay and like Ray Phoenix and anybody. There are any number of quote unquote better high flyers than what are currently in WWE right now, but WWE has their trademark ones because they're the ones that the dub has. And it's the same thing with talkers, and it's the same thing with big guys, with wrestling guys, with hard hitting guys. There's guys that do that on the indies, and then there's the WWE version of them, which is just kind of a slightly watered down version of what you'd see on the indies. With Mick Foley was the fucking guy for hardcore wrestling.
Yep.
Like you can call Mick Foley the homogenized WWE hardcore guy, but he also is the same guy who would do death matches in Japan, who lost a fucking ear in a death match.
Was it even a death match?
I don't know.
Sure it was just a match.
It might have just been a match on a fucking house show.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it was just Vader and Nick beating the shit out of each other for funsies in a match.
Right. Like, he's the guy that, like, the iconic, he fell off Hell in a Cell onto a table. And like, not like today. Obviously, it takes a ton of fucking guts to get thrown off the cell and fall through a table onto a crash pad. This was in 1998, 22 fucking years ago, when they didn't even think a spot like that was even goddamn feasible, and there was no crash pad. They just fucking did it. And then he did it again onto the inside of the ring. And then he did it again into the ring, through the ring, like 2 years later.
Yeah, he took the biggest, I don't know. I don't want to say he didn't care about his own well-being.
He kind of didn't.
He kind of did. He kind of was like, he realized, I think, early on, he didn't look like a top guy. He wasn't ever going to be able to wrestle like a top guy. He had to find something to set him apart.
Yep.
And he had a high tolerance for pain. So everything just kind of came together for him where it was like, okay, my gimmick should just be that I am the dude that does all the crazy shit.
Yep.
And it worked.
That's about how it went.
And we're still talking about him in 2020 and still watching his matches. So it worked for him.
Yep.
It also helps. He has like the personality of a cuddly teddy bear / your dad. So
right. He's very much the he's got a big dissonance between who he is as a person and who he is in the ring. And a lot of that also comes into the fact that he's got like mountains of fucking charisma. Like, and he's hands down. I brought this up when we talked about the Vader match, where he's got the he's even today, even with all the head injuries that he's had, he's still a great fucking storyteller.
Yeah.
Like
Which
it
with
it just
all the oh, go ahead.
it
Sorry, I
just
thought you were done.
it just works so well with what he does because you can tell a story in match, even in a hardcore match. And Mick Foley's one of the best at doing that thing. And he will go to the ends of the fucking earth to get you that story, no matter how it
Yeah.
needs to happen.
By all measures, like oh shit, I lost what I was gonna say. Uh, Willem find something else to say.
Well, now you put me on the spot. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm a big old schmuck over here.
Me, I'm the original schmuck,
Yeah,
the
I know.
OG
OG.
schmuck. God, I had a point to make. I have no clue. Anyways, Mick is great, but let's not just totally put him on this match.
Yeah.
Trips was great in this too.
Oh, yeah.
And he, like we said during the match, he had his points. He buried lots of talent, and I don't think anybody is going to argue you on that point.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and say the Booker T WrestleMania match. Everyone will remember the racism, and we'll all remember he buried the shit out of Booker T.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that happened. It 100% did. But he has done a lot of good as well.
Yeah.
2010 on, I would say. Maybe a little later than that. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, like now he's done more good than he hasn't. And even when he comes back now, he almost always puts the other guy over. He put
Right.
Seth over. He made Batista look good. But, Batista wasn't staying, so you didn't need to
Right.
do too much with him. But, like, he does put people over now.
You know who he didn't put over? Sting.
You don't want to get me started on that. That pissed me off so much.
Okay.
They waited over 15 years to rehash the WCW.
I know.
WCW is dead. Not even kind of dead. And the other thing on that is it didn't make any fucking sense because Sting was not friends with the NWO.
Right.
Like, it should have been anybody else, not the NW that told you shouldn't have gotten started on it. But anyway, it was just Vince being like, who can I get a pop that was in WCW?
Right. I
Oh,
definitely feel like at least in today's age, Triple H has done more good than bad for the business. It's not like good bad. It's definitely like he could say the N-word tomorrow and it would go the other way easily.
Yeah.
But like there are definitely a lot of things that he's done good for the business. In a lot of these matches, we mentioned it during the match portion of the video, or I mentioned it, where Triple H would kind of go the extra mile for a lot of this stuff. Because if you watch this match, there was that the spot where he got suplexed onto some pallets and he got a hunk of wood stuck in his thigh. Like,
I think.
Somewhere. It's in there. There's something in his leg. You could see like the entry wound for it. And he still went and continued the match. Like, you could tell he was hurting real bad from that because there were a lot of spots where he couldn't stand up all the way. And then even like later than that, there was the match that took him out before, like, for his first major injury where he tore his quad. It was the 2-man power trip, him and Austin versus Benoit and Jericho, and he still finished the match, tore his quad all the way off the fucking bone, shouldn't have been able to walk, let alone wrestle a match, and he still went the extra mile to finish up that match. So
yeah,
he's done a lot of bad, he's done a lot of burying, he's definitely guilty of some wrestling crimes against humanity. But he's also done a fair bit of good for the business as a whole.
Yeah, especially more recently, and he's taken a lot of guys under his wing, and a lot of guys that maybe that never would have gotten a chance under a purely Vince regime.
Right.
But Vince trusted Trips enough to bring guys in like Kevin Owens, a guy I think would be safe to say would not have gotten a chance 20 years ago.
Oh, fuck no.
He wouldn't have even gotten an invite probably, even though he was putting on killer matches on the indies.
Nope.
And so he has done some good. He's kind of broken the mold on the kind of guys they bring in. Ricochet, another one. if he was brought in, he would have been brought in for a cruiserweight spot.
Yep.
And Ricochet's so much better than that. He's so much better than his spot now too.
He's so much better. Yeah, he's definitely way better than where he's at now. But he wouldn't have even been able to have the spot that he's in now if it wasn't for Trips. And there's also a solid chunk of that's William Regal, because he was doing a lot of the scouting for some of these guys too. But it's all there's a good few number of people that bring some of these guys into their spots and sign them to where they need to be. But Trips is the one that kind of puts them where they need, like, books them the spot on the show that they're supposed to be in.
And at the end of the day, he's probably the one that has final say. So if he doesn't want to bring a guy in, I doubt they're bringing a guy in.
Right.
You know, it's his show.
Right. All right. Well, we are getting just a little bit long in the tooth here. So what are we watching on Thursday?
On Thursday, we're starting our Great Mootober with Hogan versus Muta.
Yes.
I don't think that this match is especially bloody, but I'm just excited to see Hogan actually go to work, put his working boots on.
I've seen clips of this match, and from what I've seen, it's entertaining, and Hulk Hogan actually does work, and there's a really hilarious spot where we'll just let you see it in the match. I'm not going to fucking spoil it here, but it's amazing.
I've never seen it. I've never seen clips.
It's amazing.
I've heard, like, wrestling lore of this Hogan match, but I've never actually seen it, so I'm quite excited to see Hogan put his working boots on.
Now, again, we've said this every time we've brought these matches up. Full disclaimer, there's not anywhere to watch this on the network. There's no, like, you can't watch it on New Japan World. You can't watch it on Bleacher Report. We're not going to link to this anywhere. If you can find a way to watch it, you can watch along with us. No big deal. But we're not going to tell you where you can find this, because we're not going to get our asses sued, because we don't got enough people to fucking come behind our backs.
Yep.
And push us, like, keep us afloat for that. So we're not doing that.
Nope.
But if you want to watch it, find a way to watch it, we'll be more than happy. We're going to be watching it here. Actually, for Mootober, what I might do is I might actually go back to the older video style and actually put the full watch-alongs up.
Okay.
Simply because it's going to be more difficult for people to find it, and they're not going to know what's going on.
There's not as much, there's not going to be as much intro to these either.
Yeah.
Just because it's a lot of times in these matches, they brought a guy in that was a name, a guy they thought would work well with what they were doing. And there wasn't the most storytelling going on, other than I want to be the winner, which isn't all bad.
We kind of toyed with the idea of making up lore for these matches, just kind of
just a joke.
Well, I mean, it was kind of, but you know.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
I
might
mean,
have to go put some lore for the Hogan.
Oh no! If you want to actually, like, bring out lore, like, you didn't bring any of that shit up with me. But if you're gonna start story time, like fake story time for these matches, I'm 100% down.
Yeah, no, I was just literally gonna make shit up. Like, literally, it's gonna be obvious that I'm lying. That's how outlandish what I had planned for the Muta one was.
Okay. Well, we're going to do that for all these matches because we have no idea what the fuck's going on. And there's probably nothing going on. Like he said, it's just they put two guys together because they thought it would be a draw and they had a spot on the card for it.
Yep.
So prepare for the Great Mootober to have some weird bullshit story time going on.
Obvious bullshit. I am like, if anybody believes what I'm saying is real, they're not paying attention to anything I'm saying.
Right. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and watching. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the subscribes. Thank you for coming and checking us out. We greatly appreciate it. We will see you this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come out, check us out. Check out our Facebook. Check out Twitter down below. Check out the audio-only version of the podcast if you feel like listening to us instead of watching us on video, because I know we've got the full version of all of our stuff up there instead of the truncated version that comes up on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But thank you, everybody, for coming out and watching. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.